Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here in Orlando, Florida, where we are covering the Air Force Association's annual Air Warfare Symposium. The topics this year are command and control and fusion warfare. Our coverage here is sponsored in part by DRS Technologies, and we have with us retired United States Navy Vice Admiral Dave Buss, who is the commander of Naval Air Forces, a man who knows a thing or two about airplanes and air power, and you are now the president of Cubic Defense. Sir, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, Vago. Thanks very much for the opportunity.
And it's always great seeing folks from different services, with different backgrounds here, including you. But you are an aviator, so scratch you. You're still an airman at heart, in some ways, a sailorly airman.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about what your guys' priorities here are. You took over the sector a couple of months ago, about 8-9 months ago. Tell us what your priorities here are at this AFA.
So this is the first AFA that I've been to, but it's remarkably similar to, at least in terms of tone and priorities, as I listen to the active duty uniform leadership talk. It's remarkably similar to what we've heard from the Army, the Navy, the other services in terms of their priorities. And all the service chiefs say it, it's about readiness. So at the end of the day, what my job is, in part, and our job at Cubic, is to help design and field the most innovative, cutting-edge training solutions to help the service chiefs, help the services, help the Joint Force, help our partner and ally nations around the world get the training that they need, particularly to operate in the this high-threat environment, the high-end fight, the contested environment of the future. It's going to be a very, very different world out there, I think, for all our uniformed forces than what we've seen, particularly the last 14, 15, 16 years.
Do you, you guys have a penchant for being a little bit different than some other contractors. You do a whole wide range of things, from transportation systems and migrate technologies very effectively within the company. Where do you guys see some of the real breakthroughs in training that you guys are trying to harness?
Yes, and direct applicability here at AFA. I think that for Cubic Global Defense in particular, the advent and the very clear definition of live virtual and constructive training and what that means to the warfighter of the future, I think, is probably one of the keys that will unlock this readiness challenge that the service chiefs are talking about. So what that means in practicality, we've got a very nice contract in place right now with the Air Force Research Lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. It's an advanced technology demonstration lasting about 3 years, and the outcome of that technology demonstration will be the very clear definition of the attributes of a live virtual constructive LVC processor that will either go on a pod or go internally in an aircraft to help set the rheostats, if you will, in the blending of live virtual and constructive entities for training in the air domain. This has got direct applicability to certainly the U.S. Air Force as well as the Navy, Marine Corps, and partner nations as well. So that's just one example of the kind of things that we're working on. I want to talk about innovative solutions for next training for the services. That's exactly what fits the bill there.
There is a sense there's going to be more money for defense, but there are also a lot of question marks over whether or not there's going to be more money. The president has said $54 billion, but it's unclear whether some of that is migrated money from OCO. And there's also the fundamental question whether Congress is going to go along with that and actually approve the increase, because you basically have the mirror image of the challenge the Obama administration had. The Trump administration now wants to increase defense spending, but then Democrats are like saying, okay, well, you're not going to gut the rest of government in order to be able to do that. As you guys project the available money out there, what are you seeing? Are you seeing a very robust growth environment, a somewhat growth environment, or an environment in which the services will still have to make some very tough choices?
I think the answer is all of the above. So I was just, and I'll try to stay out of the political context of this, I was just back on Capitol Hill a couple of weeks ago speaking with some congressmen and senators, particularly from the Armed Services Committees and the appropriators. And I think there's a general sense of optimism for defense budgets increasing in the future. However, if you look at most of the unfunded requirements lists that the service chiefs have put forward, and again, I won't speak for them, they've spoken for themselves, most of what they're asking for, at least right now in the near term, are what we call the readiness enablers. So there are a lot of the spare parts and the maintenance and modernization accounts that, quite frankly, have not been as well funded over the last several years as they should have been. And understandably, that tends to be the priority for the service chiefs. What we're bullish about in Cubic is we're looking beyond that and saying, okay, so the readiness of the force, and particularly this contested high-end fight that we have to prepare ourselves for, is really going to be the order of the day, then if we can bring forward solutions, yes, the services will always have to make hard decisions. That's the nature of the beast. We'll never have enough resources to go all the way around. But we're very optimistic that some of the things that we're working on and will bring forward to each one of the services will be of great value to them as they think about preparation for this multi-domain warfare of the future.
Sir, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it, and have a safe trip back to Washington.
Thank you very much. Good to see you, Vago.